And I introduce to you the Stronzo. The biggest ship you can build in Starfield, or at least the biggest ship I could build in Starfield without any, mods that let you build bigger ships in Starfield. And it is the perfect trifecta, the perfect combination of mass, lander count, and part count. Oh boy, let me explain. We go into the ship builder here. We're going to see we have these big side landers. We're going to have a bunch of Teo landers underneath. And we have a total of, I do believe, 36 lander, which times 200, because it's 200 mass per lander thrust, comes out to a total capacity of 7,200 mass. And if you look over there in the corner, this ship weighs 7,200 mass. Yeah, but you see, it gets worse. The reason why it's a perfect combination is because if I press this button right here, I get the error telling me I can't add a single more part to this. Not only did I build this ship so that the weight perfectly matches the lander capacity, but I did that while maxing out to the point my part count. Now, granted, there are some aesthetic parts on here. You know, I got a lot of these side plates just to, give the ship a bit of a side. And there's what I call engineering aesthetics in here. Like, for example, I have these Nova Galactic dealies here that are kind of glitched into there to help support the fuel tank. And, I love this little thing with these little cargo bays, or if you glitch them into the side of an engine, it kind of looks like a mounting point, a support point with maybe some heat shielding or something like that. So yes, there are aesthetic parts in here. And granted, if I lost some of these parts, I could increase my part count enough to maybe add more lander, maybe add more cargo capacity, but not really, because you got to look at the specifications. My mobility is down to 30. This ship doesn't move well. It's not meant to move well. But then you also notice my light year jump range is 29, which is your functional max. Your actual max in the game is 30. But according to some looking up Googling that I did, the longest jump between two planets is about 28 point something light years. So if you have 29 jump range, you can pretty much go anywhere. You're not going to be limited. So I wanted to keep it there. If we start packing more cargo onto this, oh wow, I can't even illustrate. Let's just delete this part temporarily and then duplicate this part. Okay, well maybe we get one more, and then maybe we could get a wrong button, bud. Two. No, there we go. Two more. We're down to 28. Now we're going to be limiting ourselves, and we still don't even have enough lander capacity yet to make it happen. So, this ship, what spawned this ship was, well, it was inspired by the Stronghold. Now, you're going to notice that it's not quite the Stronghold, other than maybe a similar footprint, maybe just to say it's a similar form factor with, a long front and all the habs and stuff at the back. And punning on the name of the Stronghold, I called it the Stronzo, which is a lesser Italian cuss word, which it adds to the hilarity of the whole situation. It's far from an actual Stronzo, isn't it? But some of the boxes that I wanted to check off with this build was, one, I wanted to build the biggest ship that I could, biggest Class C. Two, I wanted to build a ship using this engine set here. This is the most powerful engine set in the game. Not the most powerful individual engines, but the most powerful engine set when you put them together, because they're Class C. They have some high specs, 18,000, 7,800, but they're efficient. They only use 2 power, so you can have 6 of them. Nothing else is going to crank out quite the power of this unless I just haven't been paying attention to the specifications. But I wanted to build a ship with this engine set, a giant Class C ship, and then another check mark I wanted to do was I didn't have a Teo ship. I figured it was about time to build a Teo ship. And then, of course, part of it was to build the most cargo possible. The absolute beast of cargo. Now, you can see down there, it says 20,620 vanilla cargo. Now, if I exit the builder and you look, where is it? Oh, it's not showing. There it is. 30,930 cargo. Now, I'm guessing that's going to be with my personal cargo buffs. Full disclosure, everything with shipbuilding for me is maxed out. Piloting's maxed out, starship engineering's maxed out, shipbuilding's maxed out, payloads are maxed out. So all my ship stats are maxed out. Also, I'm past level 60, so I can use all parts available. Now that's 30,930 vanilla here. And if we get out of here, you're going to see it's an absolute unit on the tarmac here on the landing pad. It doesn't even, like, it at least doesn't clip into anything on this particular, because this thing's also max length, but you know, the lander doesn't quite add up, and it's one of those ships that commonly gets glitched where you get out of it, you kind of end up underneath of it. But what I was trying to discuss with you was if we go ahead and say add Samco, who has 0.2 payloads there, 2 point of payloads, we'll assign him to the Stronzo. Now if we go here, oh, it's not kicking in yet. We might need to wait a moment. Okay, you know, every now and then there's a game mechanic that, you know, ceases to, I'm not sure what word I should be using, but yeah, there, I got the buff to apply by actually being on my ship. I'm seeing a grand total of 34,023 cargo. I think you're going to be hard-pressed to add more cargo while still maintaining jump range and a reasonable mobility. And trust me, the mobility on this ship kind of sucks. It's got so much momentum, it's hard to stop you. I've rammed it into some star yards a few times. But on that note, let's take a look inside. I just came in the front door on the front ramp, and we go through one of these tunnels right into the workshop. I always like to put the workshop right at the landing bay, because if I do some outposting, I like having access to my industrial. You know, you're building there, you're building there. Oh, I'm out of adaptive frames. Just want to hop in here right quick and bust out some adaptive frames. I don't put workbenches at all my outposts. I do the thing where I bring it with me on my outposting ships. Just, I don't know. That's the way I like to play the game. We move into I do believe this is a 2x2 cargo hab. You know, just a little bit of lore space just to say, yeah, there's a cargo here. And then off the cargo hab, we have the infirmary. You know, if someone gets injured, this is lore, of course. If someone gets lingered, if someone gets a lingery while they're doing outposts, because it can be dangerous work, or maybe I did some like pirate hunting or something. You know, we have the infirmary right off the cargo bay, right off the landing bay. And if someone particularly injured is, like, you know, just spending a lot of time screaming in pain, it might not as much disturb people up in the living areas. Now we have a double ladder here, which I usually like to avoid, but it was kind of unavoidable here, so whatever, we accept it. We jump up one, and then we have the long tunnel to the docker, which is at the end. We got a little hab here just to nose things out, just to make it a little bit nicer out front. But these are these heavyweight, you know what occurred to me? These things are so heavy that if I hadn't used them, maybe I'd cram another cargo bay on here. Maybe just like one more just to say, nah, whatever. Half of the point of this build is aesthetics. We didn't want to just make some chunky thing that hit the numbers. I wanted it to look good too, or at least as good as it can. We go into a 2x2 living area. Oh yeah. A Teo living area for the people. Or no, this is a large all-in-one hab. I forgot Teo offers an all-in-one hab, which is actually a decent one. You know, it's got a kitchen. It's got something resembling a kitchen. Not much of a stove, maybe. It's got a washroom. I like to see that in the living area.
Huh?
4 beds.
I was lost in thought.
That's cool. A little hangout area, dartboard, stuff like that. We go over here, and we get what's also, okay, that's a hab. This is a living area, which actually gives us 2 little areas for workout and maybe another kitchen. But then we have a punching bag. That's handy. We got towels laying around. People have obviously been using this workout area. Another 2 beds. No washroom. Another dartboard. I wanted this place to be good for my crew. Some place where they could, be a little relaxed after a hard day outposting. We jump up 1, and we're into the engineering bay. I like to have an engineering bay on all my ships. It just makes lore sense. And it's a little bit higher up. I actually wanted to put this on the 2nd level, but I was having trouble getting the ladders to go where I want, getting the habs to connect where I want. I spent a lot of time messing around with the layout of this ship just to make something that makes sense and doesn't be all frickin' doors. Yes, there's mods out now that I think can help us sort out doors and ladders, but this is a vanilla build. Off here, we have the computer room. Gotta have a computer room in a ship this big. Heck yeah. And then over here, we have what's called a storeroom that goes into another all-in-one hab, or an all-in-one berth that actually has like a little chill area. Look, they got a little TV there. They could watch a little movie or something. I wanted to have a berth on multiple levels so that, crew can kind of diversify a bit, compartmentalize a bit, have a shift that wants to sleep, be away from the shift that has to be awake. And maybe also this would be where the engineering crew can like hang out and be a break room. I just like to spread things out a little bit. And of course we got another 4 beds and a toilet. That's 8, 9, that's 10 beds total for a crew of 8. We have all the beds in this ship. All the beds and lots of washrooms. Now I managed to manage an offset here for my ladder. We jump up 1. And that goes into the cockpit. One of the things that inspired me to build a Teo ship is I like the way the cockpits looked on the inside. It's very, very white, but not necessarily with the neon filters here.
A brief history of time.
Yes. There isn't even a dialogue option in Giver books. I don't get it. And of course, like usual, off the back of the cockpit, I like to have the control room for the crew supporting me to be able to control things. You see, Samco's there, calculating payloads.
Grab drive makes me feel alive.
And piloting. And then, of course, at the back of the command deck, which I guess is what we would call this, is going to be my captain's quarters with a rear inspection port. So, lots of room. Lots of room for crew, lots of room for passengers, lots of room for payload. It's just a wicked ship. And, well, just watch this jump down. As much as I fighted with it, I couldn't make that any better. Not with a layout that makes sense. So I guess now that I've given you the tour, I gotta show you how it goes together. I've arrived here at Volley Alpha because I don't think I can assemble and disassemble this ship without access to Teo parts. So let's go check that out. Alright. So I've generally chopped this ship up into chunks so that we could simulate the building experience. Some stuff I just, left together because it's pretty straightforward, right? We start with the first deck. We have the Teo landing bay, which leads into the Hope Tech spine, which leads into the workshop, which leads into the cargo hall and the infirmary. And then we have pinpoint 4 Teo landing gears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all across the bottom there to give the ship some support. Now you're going to notice these are the B's. That's the bottoms. Because Teo is interesting because it actually has all sorts of different habs to offer all sorts of different orientations aesthetically. These have smooth bottoms. They're smooth bottom habs. And of course we're using these Galleon S24 cargo holds all around. We get to put 4 of them on the first deck. Except for this guy right here. That's a Sextant 720. It fills in the gap because we couldn't hit the numbers we wanted with just all that one kind of cargo hold. So that kind of just, slots into there. We left all these panels into place for now. Lots of these Teo side caps. Lots of these Teo side caps. And would you believe I didn't know something about these until recently? There's the alternate with, we could put a side mount weapon. So maybe I might have implemented something like that had I realized that was a thing. So for the second level, Well, first I hide my EMPs. So I just generally put EMPs on all my ships because they're great for, taking down other ships if you want to do that sort of thing. This isn't a combat ship, but at the end of the day, the way the game mechanics works is you need to just slam a bunch of weapons on it anyway, just to make your frickin' your crew count. You can have all sorts of space in Habs for crew, but until you put weapons, because you notice all the weapons, they have a crew capacity. Engines have crew capacity. Grav drives have crew capacity. All the functional parts have crew capacity, and you need to add enough stuff in order to meet your crew quota. Now I put them here using these Teo equipment plates. I hid them. I hid them underneath these guys right here, the end caps, because they have like this kind of grill in the front that suggests they can be used for something. Well, they're my EMP emitters. Now I got nothing there to snap it to right now, so I better go and maybe grab myself a little habby hab. Ah, come on. This is going to be struggling with that particular error. Oh, that's not even going to give us an attachment point. We got to go grab... Look, we'll just grab a threefer here. The spine and 2 cargo holds. And then I could put that there. I can flip, glitch, boom. My EMP is hidden. And then, of course, we just go do that for the other one, too. It'd be nice if this moved faster. Flip, glitch. Now, just generally... without much interest, we just fill this in with cargo holds and these general spines. We'll just go and do that all in one chunk just to save ourselves some time. Boom, there we go. And then yes, we have our all-in-one berth, 2x2, living quarters, and companionway. And they're mids. You can see they're kind of ugly because they're meant to go into the middle of the ship. What's that little guy there? You'll find out later. But that's the gist of the second deck now, isn't it? That kind of clears things up for us. Here's the shield. We're gonna fight with this error because we miss our mark. The shield goes right about here, where we could go ahead and grab... Let's start our third deck. A companionway goes there. And we have a situation where, because we're maxed out, we're going to have a trouble doing the dupe glitch here. So we're going to have to use hacks. And that is part and parcel of this general build. So we just temporarily delete one of these guys. Delete one of these guys. Then we can do a dupe glitch down, cover up that shield generator, which we like to hide into there. Put that guy back into place. And then that guy right there, the engineering bay, goes right there. Got a companionway, or no, is that... Yeah, it's a companionway. It's weird. You got to mess around a lot to figure out which thing is going to give you the functionality that you want. And there's no guarantee you're going to be able to duplicate things. I've built the identical ship twice, exactly the same way, and then have different ladder configurations happen on us. All-in-one berth, companionway, porthole top. That's not what I was aiming at. Computer core. That's our third level. Yeah, third level. 4-level ship. Except another way we got a little bit more cargo is I use this guy right here. That is a Sextant 1270 cargo hold. I tried different configurations with companionways and storerooms and stuff, and I couldn't quite get things to work out. If I put a storeroom here, it might glitched it in such a way where all of a sudden the pathway to the cargo, the computer room's over here. If I put it back here, put a companionway here, it would not do a front door. This is what I settled on. Now you're going to notice I have one of these side caps here. And this is where we really cheese the aesthetics, the engineering aesthetics. That's what this guy's all about. That's a Demios Bracer A. And we put that right there to hold that side cap on. And then we take our cargo bay, flip, glitch. Sit it right there. Oh, it did one of these, but sometimes if we select it, it'll jump down. That's a bit of a drop glitch there. And then bam. It doesn't quite meld in, but it's not bad. And then, you know, it kind of matches this thing here. Now, for these landers that go out front, you're going to see we have side caps here. We just do classic flip, flip, glitch. Boom, there it goes. So we have some aesthetic cover up. It melds in nicely, keeps the lines all along the ship here uniform. Do the same thing with this guy. Do the same thing with all four of them, as a matter of fact. I think you know it. I think that's all our landers in place now. And that's most of the front of the ship. Right around the side here, we have ourselves some more landers. Some more beefy 4G pinpoint, starboard, those lander thrust 2. Are those mutilations of each other? Like if you grab one of these, I'm trying to remember. No, it's just, it is what it is. But it allows us to put these nose caps on there, which are actually more expensive than the, what are the other things called? Reverse engines. Now, I opted for the nose cap because these things become reverse engines, but maybe. I don't know if the game has a mechanic that recognizes how many reverse engines you have and actually gives you that anti-momentum, but this ship could use more slowing power. And they put the fuel balls in these nose caps, as impractical as they are. Oh, our grav drive's in the way. Also featured... Yeah, that's a 50. Also featured is we got ourselves some 145 damage Class C obliterator turrets. Because, you know, this is a big heavy cargo ship. If someone wants to mess with us, they're going to have some pain. They're just straight up going to have some pain to deal with. That said, I also have some PBO 300 alpha beams, 24-4. These are just manual. I find just having turrets doesn't work very well because they don't always fire when you want them to, so I like to have some manual front firing weapons just to say if the things hit the fans, I have some defensive ability. Again, not a combat ship. That's just there for defensibility. Now, these things will flip on us, and they want to go red because we have these side panels in place. And you know, there's different directions we could take here. Unfortunately, we milled that in there, and we got this Uggo here. We could flip glitch that into there. That works. Or we could just take one of these, generally. Tayo Cowling 4, flip glitch that into place. Those were easy to place. Very, very easy to place. And of course, we have our whole top section here. I won't bother putting them into place individually. Nothing special about that. We just slap them down there, bud. We just slap them down there, and the ship's starting to come together. Our grav drive, Gamma, Relodyne, 50. It's one of the biggest grav drives in the game. There's a couple that put out 50. If you're getting 29 jump range with 50, that just goes to show you're maxed out. Maybe a DLC will give us bigger grav drives and bigger ships, but that just generally goes right there. And it will allow us to mount engines to the front of it. So this side of the ship's relatively straightforward. Engine. Oh, these are this side's engines. Engine. And engine. And then a Tayo pipe. A Tayo pipe just to kind of support that engine. And then, you know, look like there's something going to the engine. On the other side, we have the reactor. But we can't mount an engine to the back of a reactor. Oh no. What we can do is we can put support structures in there. Which, well, this is where things get tricky because these support structures, we're at Tayo right now. We don't have the ability to dupe glitch or glitch these in there in any way. So we got to move that out of the way. We're going to have to put these into place. We're going to have to just make it so that we can slap some general habitats just over top of that thing. So we'll just put this guy here real quick. And then we can kind of maybe do that. And of course, we're not going to be able to dupe glitch. We're going to have to I said, we're going to have to delete a few things to make this happen. And assuming they sell this here, which I do believe they do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, I got to remember how this is done. Okay, I remember now. It's easier to do when you're at Nova Galactic, but if we take and temporary delete the one, then we can dupe this down, then delete that one, then dupe that down, and then boom. So what we've created is a support structure encapsulating, not quite encapsulating, the reactor. So this reactor now has all points of contact. We could start slapping engines on it. Took a minute to remember how that goes. And of course, we got that tailspine piece right there, and right there, and yay, that's back to normal. But hey, are we gonna have that same problem with the fuel tank? Because we got these puppers here. Well, not so much. We got to put these puppers into place first, I think. Slap those down into place. And we're gonna have to build ourselves some basis by which to hold the fuel tank. Because we can't... Oh! I have never noticed that there were variations of this fuel tank. This fuel tank has side variations. Oh, well, jeez, that's going to make it easy. We just put it there. Flip, flip, flip. Glitch. Oh! Flip. Oh, no, okay. We made it happen. For all intents and purposes, we made it happen. And I made these support structures the same color because, yeah, it looks like this tank actually has support now instead of just 2 points here and 2 points here. It does kind of hang out, and it looks like it should be rather heavy. Now, of course, in order to hit our numbers, we had to sneak extra little bits of cargo bay here and there. And now, one little aesthetic thing I like is just putting them there. Putting them there to look like they're supports. We just slap that in there. This is not even the most complicated glitch build. This is actually like pretty much all together already. All together already. We can just slap our captain's quarters back there, get our rear porthole back there, get our mirror, or no, our window back in place, get our gun back into place, and then look at that. Against all odds, relatively... Oh, this guy. Oh, this guy. Oh, yeah. We have another glitch right here. Now we're going to have to pull this guy out. Pop that guy in there. Pop this guy in there. Flip, flip, glitch. Now she's all together. And we got a warning. Only about mass. Only about size. Only about our lack of mobility. But that's this Throne Zo build. Except for the fact that we're at 7198. Because we deleted some of these things. One goes there. One goes there. Now we're at 7200. Just have some shielding along the side. And I guess it kind of bugs me. We're missing one window here. I think that's a sacrifice that I gave up just to make the ship the way it was. You know, we could probably get rid of something that wouldn't look too bad like that. Don't really need windows on the computer core, though. I guess we could have it. If we remove this, then we have no reason to have... That's the wrong piece, bud. No reason to have this piece. And then it's like, okay. Wow, now we're at 7198 mass. We're missing pizzas. And then how many more of these do we have? One more. So if we could strategically throw something that has 2 mass in here somewhere, you know, we could put another window, 7199, and then we're maxed out. So there's options. There's options, you know? Now it's bugging me that window's missing. When I'm going to press this button, I'm going to... Actually, no, because I'm curious. Let's put stuff back the way it goes. With the support beam in place. With that piece slapped right there. Everything should be copacetic. Now if we exit and accept... Even though I didn't really make any changes to the ship, let us go and see if our internal layout changed. which, because we're at Vol Alpha Neon, this ship might be horribly glitched right now, so we should take off. Straight to the cockpit. Let's do ourselves a takeoff. You can see how this thing looks.
Engines purring.
It's an absolute roaster, bud. A complete and total toaster. See, there's that glitch I was look at all the fire. All that lander just... Oh, boy.
Everything looks so pretty up here. We're in orbit.
And yeah, let's crank up the engines. Let's crank up the shields. A Sextant 1600, by the way. A little bit of these things. A whole lot of EM. Not much left for grav drive, which is probably going to need a lot of power. You know, we could probably take this into a little combat scenario just to see how it fares, even though it's kind of pointless because I didn't intend for this to be a combat ship. Oh, but she doesn't turn well. She doesn't turn well. You know what we need? We need a star yard to accidentally, to give us reference. And here we go, not too far away from Vol Alpha is the autonomous star yard. Now we have quite a bit of speed here, and you know, we're gonna get close to it, but then we're gonna start pulling back our speed. That look at it, it does not want to stop. It just... That's one reason why we put bumpers on the front, bud. she don't like slowing down. You gotta plan well ahead if you're gonna make a stop, or at least hit that dock button to go into the animation before you ram it. Or, you know, just go ahead and ram it for fun. Went with a bit of a blue aesthetic, you're gonna notice. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I didn't want to use the same colors I'd always used before. She's an absolute beast. So you want to see her... Oh, what mode am I in here now? I do not know how I get into this particular mode. Wow. Okay. That's the Stronzo. The biggest ship you could build in the Starfield. Absolute freaking unit. I'm not going to bother. Well, should we bring her into some combat? I started the Crimson Fleet quest, so it's like if I go into combat right now, it's not going to be quite proper. Yeah. No, this isn't about combat. This is not a combat ship. Like, we can do it in a pinch. We can do it in a pinch. But it's kind of pointless. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and come back for more.